For the second time in 4 months, local, state, and federal authorities announced more than 24 gang members and associates have been indicted on gun and drug charges. This operation being dubbed Operation Zombie. Now, this year-and-a-half-long investigation began back in September of 2013. It was initiated by the Safe Streets Task Force with the help of the Urban Violent Crime Task Force. Now, within the past 5 days, 14 young men were indicted by a Providence County grand jury on state drug trafficking charges. 11 other young men were indicted in federal court with trafficking heroin and cocaine. Now, 5 additional gang members were arrested on firearm charges during the investigation. And authorities say there are other suspects that have warrants issued for their arrest, and it's believed that one suspect has fled the country. Now, in a news conference this afternoon, local, state, and federal authorities say they dismantled 3 gangs in and around the south side of Providence.
You already know, Abuelo, hip-hop is life. We about to get into this fire, and today we got episode number 4 of Where Are They Now? Rhode Island Rap Edition. I appreciate everybody that's been tuning in to the last couple episodes. If you're new to this series, hit subscribe, hit like, share it if you like it, all that good stuff, man. Appreciate it. But today we're going to talk about a rapper from the south side of Providence, Rhode Island, named Vick Mucka. Now, Vick Mucka, you know, if you in Rhode Island, you know about him. If you're outside of Rhode Island, you might not know about him, but you started hearing about him in the city of Providence about, I would say 2012 maybe. He came out with a couple tracks on YouTube with another young rapper from Providence, Rhode Island. He passed away, R.I.P., Young Shad. He was making songs with him, and they all came from like the same area around the south side of Providence, Rhode Island, and that's a block called Congress, you know what I mean? And even on the street, you know what I mean, people refer to them as C Block or what have you. When he started out, you know what I mean, when the people started hearing him, you know, they liked the style, you know what I mean, he had the image. So I would say around maybe 2014, that's when Vick Mucka really started to heat up, you know what I mean, the city. He had 2 features with, you know, well-known Chicago rapper G Herbo. The first feature, it was titled EOBE, Eat or Be Eaten. That one did so good, they followed up with a second one, and it was called Through the City, I believe. After those 2 dropped, people, I would say that's when he really became on people's radar. Like, everybody really, you know, Rhode Island knew who Vick Mucka was. People outside of Rhode Island starting to know who he was and everything like that. And now, you know, like I said, all the rappers that we go over in these episodes, most of them got street ties. So in the middle of all of this, you know, not a lot of people was getting features from Chicago artists and artists out of state. Like I said in a couple episodes before, Key Money, you know, he was one of the first ones with the Little J feature. You got another rapper from Providence. He goes by the name of Hammer Beans, Hammer Hendrix. He had I believe a Billionaire Black feature. And then you have Vick Mucka, you know what I mean, with the G Herbo feature. So back in 2014, like when this was happening, this was a big deal. That's where I consider like the height, basically, of his buzz as far as Rhode Island rap music was, you know what I mean, around that time. And around this time, you know, like if you're from Providence, you know, they had Providence Police and the FBI put together a task force called Operation Zombie. And Operation Zombie, it took down like 30 people. And Vick Mucka was all included in this, you know, operation that they had going on. He got caught in it, you know, through a firearm. He got caught with a loaded pistol. So just imagine dropping 2 tracks with G Herbo and your city showing you love and you buzzing, then to get caught up in federal indictment type stuff in Operation Zombie. So it was like hard for him to really, really, you know, focus on his music. Operation Zombie, they took everybody down in maybe 2015. At the summer 2015, everybody was basically taken down. But it started in 2013. It was like damn near 2-year investigation. So when he got caught with his, you know, with his firearm, you know, he fell into all of that. So he was charged with that. You know, and it's hard to make music after that because now they dissecting your videos, you under a microscope, what you rap about, what you say, who you around. So it's really hard to succeed when that type of stuff is going on. And mind you, also, you know, the reason why we even seen Vick Mucka go hard with the music around, 2013, 14, 15 is because, like I said, he was introduced to the Rhode Island rap scene through a rapper that was already doing it. And his name was Young Shad. And he from the same hood that Vick Mucka from, you know what I mean? So why not give your man some shine? If you rapping and he could rap, why not throw him on the track? So this was what was happening. So here you have it. You come, I believe it was January 2013, Young Shad drops a track called F1. And this is featuring an artist named Westboy Tone. Now you gotta follow me. Like I said, you pay attention. You know, Vick Mucka is from the south side of Providence, but he also got ties with people from the West End. Cause like I said, he did that, Young Shad did that F1 track featuring Westboy Tone, who was from the West End. But make a long story short, in the F1 track that Young Shad dropped in January 2013, he's just basically explaining what F1 is. It basically stands for family first. Any real person can respect that. So make a long story short, when Shad died in 2013, it was a pretty ill thing. Like the way he was found after he passed away was kind of like unheard of in Providence, Rhode Island.
Eyewitness News with an update now on a story we first told you about last month. The man whose body was discovered burning at the Pecasset Cemetery in Cranston was apparently strangled before his body was set on fire. That's according to our news partners at the Providence Journal. The medical examiner says 22-year-old Gandhi Kadea died of strangulation. According to police, his murder is believed to be gang-related.
So when this happened, it basically gave Vick Mucka the extra motivation he needed to be like, yo, man, I'm really gonna go hard with this music and I'm really gonna do it. He got numerous tracks out there. I'm not gonna say name them all, but those 2 features with G Herbo really stood out. And then after the 2 features with G Herbo, here comes Big Brother featuring Key Money.
Free the realest, we holding it down. I've been paving the way for my hotel. If you got a problem with me, I got hollers with me. Front your move, then I'm letting off rounds. In these streets, man, that dope like my big brother. In these streets, man, that dope like my big brother. He told me we gon' shine, he said that it's gon' be a come up. Just stay on your ground, he told me you gon' be a hustler. Boy, you better pick up if they callin' for me. Don't diss me over bitches, we need all the money. I can buy you drugs, weed, lean, all of that. Just make sure that the fiends keep calling back. And if the feds come knocking down your door for me, you know I got some in the stash, you pay your lawyer fees. Keep on bagging up, they wanna order me. Just whip it till I call the king.
Now, Big Brother featuring Key Money and King OSF, that to date is Vick Mucka's highest viewed video. Like, if you say Vick Mucka, people will be like, oh yeah, that Big Brother joint he had was that was fire. And another thing about Big Brother, when Big Brother hit YouTube, like the city really kind of went crazy because it was a smash. Then you got a dude from the South, which is Vick Mucka, and then you got a guy from the East Side of Providence, Rhode Island, which is Key Money, on the same track. And it's a banger. You know what I mean? Because like I told you, like I said, you got to go back in these episodes. The south side of Providence, Rhode Island, and the east side of Providence, Rhode Island, they always been having this thing going on. Who knows when it's going to end. But that was like a good moment to see 2 guys from 2 different sides come together and make a banger. And like I said in Key Money's episode, they also got another track called Gunna Man. So, you know what I mean? They heated it up together both, with them 2 tracks. And I think, and some people might say they came together, the reason why you have Vick Mucka from the South and Key Money from the East come together because they had common issues. So make a long story short, everything's tied in together, man. So just follow it. But that was a good moment, man. And when you talk to certain people, when you give feedback about Vick Mucka and his style, it's not something that's gonna jump out the speakers at you. You know what I mean? It is real music. It is what he's going through. If you're a Vick Mucka fan, you know exactly what you're getting, and you was excited to get it. So I don't know where to rank him in the city as far as music, but he's up there. He had one of the biggest buzzes in the city. So go on YouTube, type in Vick Mucka, you know what I mean? Go on SoundCloud, type in Vick Mucka, and you form your own opinion. But like I said, at the height of his young career, he was going through so many issues in the street that it was really hard to focus on everything that he had going on.
That SLICKmix, nigga.
Hello?
I knew my niggas gonna pick up.
What's good?
Yo, I want to know what Vick Mucka meant to the city at his height and when you think his height was.
Shit, for me, it's probably like, around like Big Brother, but even like Painkillers. Like, you know what I mean? But like, he's the closest thing we got to like a all-around East Coast Jim Jones real rapper nigga. Like, you know what I mean? That could do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of like, you know, everybody got their own little pocket and shit. Like, you know, Key sounds like NBA and then, you know, them type of drill type fucking Baton Rouge niggas, and then Dame sounds like, you know, basically like the new wave and shit. But like Mucka is like probably the closest thing to our overall East Coast New York Dipset days type ill shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know he ain't really been dropping music like that lately. You think Operation Zombie finished him?
Nah, he got shit in the cut. He been working up for something. He ain't gonna leave us out here like that.
You think Operation Zombie affected him?
Man, you know what I mean? That's a deep situation right there. So I don't really know too much on that part. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You think he'll have the buzz that he once had?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Facts, man.
Shit, you already know.
That secret sauce, nigga.
So now after he's dropping his solo stuff, now you know he's starting to heat up the city or whatever. You got artists like John Hope, another artist from Providence, Rhode Island. He's giving him a stamp in his interviews and his press runs saying, yo, this kid's like, you know, a Jim Jones around here. Cause that's basically essentially what Vick Mucka kind of was. You could relate him to, you know what I mean? The long hair and the braids, the jewelry. And then you also had another rapper, Drew Barrows. Like I told you before, he was working with Slick. So this is how, you know, Slick caught wind of Vick Mucka, working with him. So it was all tying in. And then, like I said, the G Herbo features happened. Then the Big Brother happened with Key Money. So it was just everything was happening good with the music at one point. And then here comes Operation Zombie, losing gang members or people he calls brothers. You know, so it's hard to focus. And these guys, like young men, they lost a couple people. You know what I mean? R.I.P. Shad, R.I.P. Geek, R.I.P. Crazy D. So all these guys, they coming together and repping these three people and other people that they lost. And then, like I said, Shad dropped the F1 track in January. And then March, he ends up passing away from gang-related, you know, violence. So I believe that's when the whole F1, they came together and like, yo, let's just run with F1. You know what I mean? It's basically self-explanatory. And you know, Vick Mucka, he also got songs with King OSF. OSF is another rapper from Providence, Rhode Island. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you familiar with him. The people outside of Providence, Rhode Island is probably going to start to get familiar with him. He just got, you know, just came into a situation with another major artist. I'm going to save that for his episode. But Vick Mucka and King OSF, they real close, you know. They come from the same side. They got the same agenda. They got the same motivation, and they make good music together, you know. But yeah, like I said, so when the Operation Zombie started happening, now he's limited as to what he can do with the music, because at one point he was getting a cosign from 50 Cent. If I'm not mistaken, you know, he posted a couple pictures and videos being around 50 Cent, you know what I mean? And this was after, you know, he started working with SLICKmix, Mike Slick, you know, one of the top producers in New England. He started working with him before that, and the Big Brother came. That's when the Big Brother came and all that stuff. So he was on his way, you know what I mean? But I think what happened in the street really blocked what he had going on. So when the Operation Zombie hit, you know, he got picked up on the gun charge. I believe he was fighting his case. He dropped the Operation Zombie video. And you can go on YouTube and check that out. And it'll basically tell you everything I'm saying. It got a news clip in the front of it about how they went down, 30 people, 3 gangs. You know what I mean? So now I don't know if, you know, he's the one really in the street or really doing these things, but the people around him definitely, you know, brought the heat for him, you know what I mean? So, I mean, he did get caught with a loaded 9. So, I mean, you be the judge. You don't believe me? Look it up. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like I said, so after, you know, he does time for the weapon or whatever like that, he comes out and drops Fresh Out. This is around 2017. Did pretty good numbers on YouTube because everybody, like, you know, they've been missing Vick Mucka or whatever. So now he gets out, he shoots a video, drops it, it's going crazy. So it's like, yo, he still got fans. And as far as recently to date, I mean, he hasn't dropped nothing in maybe a year, but, you know, that's because, I don't want to say what is cuz, but he did get shot recently. He did have a newborn recently. So all these life events, you know, probably held up some music. But he did have one joint with Roddy Ricch. It's just an audio, you know what I mean, called Can't Complain. It's not a video. I don't know how that's gonna work, but, you know, check that out, man. Hopefully everything is all well with Vick Mucka. Fans definitely waiting to hear from him. I don't know, you be the judge, man. You get in the comments. You let me know where he is right now, man, and what's coming and what you think. Get in the comments if I miss anything. Let me know how I did. You already know, man. We'll see you the next episode, yo. We out.
Pick up if they callin' for me. Don't diss me over bitches, we need all the money. I can buy you drugs, weed, lean, all of that. Just make sure that the fiends keep calling back. And if the feds come knocking down your door for me, you know I got some in the stash, you pay your lawyer fees. Keep on bagging up, they wanna order me. Just whip it till a quarter key. I stay true, turn no lies, we can butter enterprise. Buy you shoes, what's your size, have you sitting in a ride? I know you wanna live that life, let that boy grind. I see you out here hustling, yeah, you need to come fuck with us. Nobody wanna be struggling. When you get your money up, shit, everybody your cousin. I'm bustin', I just hope they ain't see none. Free the realest, we holding it down.